Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Madden 17 Road to Glory. And what I might be doing for some of the next episodes is I'll be mixing in some episodes that are just gameplay, because I'm trying to get some of those competitive badges to eventually finish the Mutt Master set. I know it's going to be a long grind, so I'll put these videos in every now and again, and in these videos I'll just answer some questions that you guys have asked on the previous video. So one that was asked is quite obviously to go through free agency, and specifically the Lions in free agency. And if you're not a Lions fan, you might not know about all these signings, but there are a few very big signings that will make the Lions a lot better over the course of the coming season. Obviously, two big departures that I will mention early on, or three big departures, sorry, that I should mention early on. Larry Warford going to the Saints and Riley Reiff going to the Vikings. Two quite big free agent departures. Two very solid O-linemen last year. I mean, they were the part of the front five in Detroit that, you know, did a pretty good job of looking after Stafford last year, to be honest. Larry Warford was a very big part of that, and Riley Reiff swapping from left tackle to right tackle was also a very big part of that. He did a pretty good job there, considering he is a left tackle, and that's what he will play with the Vikings. And personally, I think letting them go, combined with who came in, was a very, very good move. I think Larry Warford was alright as a guard, but to be honest, if you want to get the running game going, you need a guard that can help pull a lot, and he just wasn't that good when it came to pulling or anything like that. But Riley Reiff obviously wasn't a right tackle. He's much better at left tackle, and that is where the Vikings are going to play him. I think they overpaid a bit for him, but I think on the whole, getting rid of both of them is a very good decision for the franchise. And to replace them with two very big pickups is Ricky Wagner and TJ Lang, back to where he should have played his whole career in Detroit. So I'm not sure if it's Rick Wagner or Ricky Wagner, but either way, he looks like a very, very good right tackle prospect. I mean, the Lions are paying him quite a lot of money. I think he is the top paid right tackle in the league now, he's up there. But him combined with TJ Lang next to him, who is also very, very highly paid by the Lions, rightfully so, considering he is a Pro Bowl guard. I think that will really, really, I mean, I'll just say really so many times, help the Lions so much, because it'll give Stafford more time in the pocket, which is what he needs. I mean, if Stafford has time to pass, he tends to come up with some very clutch passes, and it gives him the time to read the field that he needs. One problem that Stafford did have last year was when he was trying to read the field, he didn't always have enough time, and he tended to use pass tendencies and just lob the ball up, and it didn't work out as well as it has done in previous years, considering he doesn't have Megatron there. Well, these two guys have a lot more time in the pocket, and it also should allow the run game to develop a lot better, because that's something that's very underrated with the Lions. Obviously, stats-wise, they're not very good, but they did have a lot of injuries last year. I think Abdullah was out most of the year, if not all the year, from what I remember, and Theo Riddick, he tends to be, he's not the best runner. He's a running back, but he's not the best runner. He's very good at catching out of the backfield. He's probably the best at that in the league. But when it comes to running, he's not the best at that, considering he hasn't had the tools to work with, like the best line or anything like that so far. I think on the whole, it's a very, very good pickup for Detroit, getting those two very key offensive linemen into the team. It should really develop the run game, hopefully. I mean, I think they might be picking up a running back in the draft. Maybe in the third round. I don't think they're going to pick someone very high up. They're probably going to go for a linebacker when it comes to that. But I can talk about that in another episode, because this one's going to be mainly about free agency. Someone that also did leave, something that I'm a little bit disappointed about, I think Lions fans are either one way or another on this, is DeAndre Levy leaving. I mean, he had a very good year a few years back. A few years back. He's been injured since then, and hasn't been worth the money that he has been, worth the cap space whatsoever, just because he's not playing enough. And since he's been injured, he hasn't been as good as he was before. Before, he was an absolute rock in the middle of the field. He was covering, he was sort of a defensive leader, and that's what the Lions needed at linebacker, and he can't live up to that anymore. So I think what the Lions are doing is they're going to revamp the whole linebacker unit, from what I can tell. They have Tahir Whitehead in there. He'll be a starter. I don't think he's a number one middle linebacker. I think he's better on the outside, sort of a left outside or potentially a right outside backer. Probably left outside backer. He's probably better when it comes to that. But another person they did get in who's not going to start, I don't think he'll start anyway, and from what a lot of other people have said as well, he won't start, is Paul Warrilow. I think he used to play for the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken. He was a starter there, and I think it was Deion Jones. When Deion Jones came in, he just took his place. It was the Falcons. It definitely was the Falcons when Deion Jones came in. Took his place, moved Paul Warrilow down the pecking order, and apparently he's a very good special teams player, which is very big for Bob Quinn. He really likes to get his special teams guys involved. Stupid read in the background there by me in the gameplay. It's actually a very good game in the background. It was a playoff game. I think it was one of my playoff games from what I remember. Played it yesterday, so I can't really remember. But it was a playoff game that I did really want to win, because obviously I need the competitive badges. And the further you get into the playoffs, the more of them you win. But anyway, Paul Warrilow, don't think he'll start. I think when he first came in, people were thinking sort of, we got a new linebacker in. We need the new linebacker. This guy could be something special. On the whole, I don't think he will be. I think he had 2 years as a starter, and he just didn't make a huge impact at all. I think he's more of a backup player to make sure the starters are on their toes. So that should help if they do draft some good young linebackers, giving them something to keep them on their toes, make sure they do play very well and don't rest on their laurels. Someone else who has come in, who hasn't been spoken about very much, but I think will be huge for Detroit, considering Eric Ebron's very hit or miss some games. I think in the games where he is missing, Darren Fells will be able to step up, because he is one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. Very physical guy, and that's something the Lions really needed. Obviously, once again, more pocket presence for Stafford. That'll give him a lot more pocket presence. It'll give him a lot more time in the pocket. And on the running game, it'll allow them, they'll be able to have 6 guys out there, and it won't be obvious it's a run. Whereas before, they were using Cornelius Lucas as, well, he's a right tackle, if you don't know the Lions. He's a right tackle, and they put him at the tight end spot, and it was blatantly obvious when it was going to be a run when he was in the game, because you wouldn't put him in the game unless it's going to be a run. Whereas Darren Fells offers sort of the same, if not better, blocking ability for the run than Lucas offers, and he also has decent hands. He's not the best catcher in the world, obviously, otherwise he'd be worth a hell of a lot more in the cap environment. But on the whole, he should offer Detroit a very, very nice outlet and be able to mix up the game a bit more, not make them so one-dimensional, which is a very big flaw of Detroit, and one of the reasons they couldn't score when it came to the playoffs against the Seahawks. They just knew exactly what they were going to do every run. Final 2 guys I will talk about. DJ Hayden, not too sure on this one. I mean, he's going to be a nickel corner. He's on a 1-year, show me deal. Pretty expensive. I think he's about $4 million in cap. He should be fairly good. He does get a lot of penalties, though, from what I've heard. To be honest, I can't say I've watched him play very much, but he does get, well, from what I've read anyway, he does get a lot of penalty calls, which hopefully won't detract from his value, and hopefully he does step up in Detroit. So I think this will be a very good year for Detroit. And the final guy, Akeem Spence. I'm not sure if Haloti Nada is going to stay for too much longer. I think he'll stay there either as a starter or as a backup starter, just because there's a lot of young defensive tackles in the team. Obviously, Akeem Spence isn't insanely young, but he's not a veteran of the league. I think he's been around for 5 years. So him combined with Ashawn Robinson should be able to learn a lot from Haloti Nada, and hopefully, I'm feeling good about Detroit's chances this year. So that's the main roundup of free agency so far in Detroit. I don't think I've left anyone out. If you want me to go into a lot more detail, I can. So let me know down in the comments if you do want to hear that. Also, anything else you want to hear about, and I can talk in videos like this about sort of things to do with your specific team. Obviously, I'm only going to go into Detroit on this specific video because I don't have enough time to go into details of other teams as well. I'll talk about the game a tiny bit as it's coming to a conclusion. But once again, any questions, do let me know down in the comments. But as you can see in the background, we're down 20-13. Coming into the playoff game, I did not want to lose. So I'm making my final drive up the field, really hoping I can get a touchdown. If I get a touchdown, I'm thinking, do I go for 2 points or do I just play it safe, go for 1 and play in overtime? And the way this guy's been playing, he hasn't done anything special on defence. I'm not sure why I hadn't scored more. I think I was just mucking about too often. I was taking it easy. I was thinking, I'm going to beat this guy because his defence isn't good. And obviously, up to this point, he's been playing better than me. I do run it in, but I do leave 35 seconds on the clock. I was trying not to score a touchdown instantly there, but I did. And I did play it safe and go for 1. And this play here defines the game. As you can see, for some reason, I knew he was going to go left. I knew he was running the 4 verts play. And the linebacker just decides to follow way over to the right and gives him up to midfield, which isn't what I wanted. And once again, he just goes to the out route and he is in field goal range, and that is it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. We do end up losing 23-20. Quite annoying, but you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And if you have enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon for another video.